Welcome back to the Unstuckable You Masterclass, Part 2. This next segment actually contains the secret behind manifestation that really works, and it has nothing to do with hustle or hoping. It's about shifting what you're focused on beneath the surface so that what you create in your life and your business starts aligning automatically. Let's keep going. So the words are, in this order, seeing, healing, restoration, and convergence. And it's a stair-step thing. It starts with the seeing and then the next level and next. So it's like an ascension, really, that process. And what does that mean? So let's define them. So seeing, my interpretation, what was given to me and how I work with this is to see with divine mind, that you must understand the energy that underlies all things and that creates all things, including your thoughts and your emotions. And so this involves recognizing your true authentic self, your who you are, hyphenated, who we really are, each of us, and discerning your most powerful and fulfilling path for you. It's about seeing your true potential and aligning your thoughts and actions with it, because I believe we all have what I call a divine assignment. We all are born with the potential for a particular thing that we're meant to do, we're capable of doing, we can do. It's being given to us, the ability to do it. The question is, are we going to pay attention and accept it? Are we going to find the pathway to it? Are we going to actually implement, or are we going to draw back into familiar zones, familiar comfort zones, and say, no, I don't think so? Because we all have the option to go either way. I had this happen to me as I was being given, I will say given these insights and this awareness of what I was supposed to start talking about and sharing and teaching. It took me a while because it was like, am I really going to talk about this to other, are people going to think it's crazy or what? And so I wasn't doing it. I have a mobile office. It's this huge, looks like a semi, it's 45 feet long, built on a heavy duty Freightliner truck chassis. I do all the driving. My husband's legally blind, and that's how we travel. We travel with 3 dogs. I tow a lime green Jeep behind it, and I work from anywhere because it's also a freedom lifestyle that we're able to experience. And so we were driving through southern Utah, one of our favorite areas of the topography, the geography, all of it, red rocks and really dramatic outcroppings of rock, and it's 2-lane road, and driving along. The way I get messaging can just be just this really pronounced message, really thought that's not on my own head. It just doesn't feel like it is. And the message was basically, hey, while you're out here like this, we're just going to remind you, you're either going to use what you are being given or move it on to somebody else. Someone else will be the one to deliver this. And I knew right then I had to start doing this. I had to start talking about it. So that was part of my seeing. The second word is healing's all about recognizing and changing your conditioned responses. I call them habits of thought, overcoming the challenges and obstacles that hinder your progress, self-limiting beliefs. It involves making use of the non-desires, basically, the things we actually don't prefer to have in our life, to identify and let go of old stories, past relationships, false beliefs that no longer serve you. The way our minds work, the way our brains work is an amazing thing, because our brain will literally prune out the stuff we don't need. We don't need to remember how to crawl, most of us, right? We don't need to remember how to ride a tricycle or how to say mama and dada, right? So those things could just go away. Our brain takes care of that. We don't need to have that activated right now. But there's a lot of other stuff that's just hanging around still, because we have between 70 and 80,000 thoughts a day. Wow. We don't really fully understand where they all come from. You've probably heard many things about how we're not aware of how to use all of our brain. There's so much capacity and capability. And so it's really choosing what you're going to focus on, where you're going to focus your attention, and your brain will start to take care of getting rid of the stuff that's unused. The third word is restoration. Restoration is about returning to the never-changing essence of your being, restoring to what you are truly made of, who you really are. That's the restoration. That's the part we just forget, we lose track of, we lose connection to. It's about moving into your power, moving, I would even say, back into the power that you've always had and perhaps not realized that you had, and acknowledging that your intuitive guidance, that inner wisdom, that access to that universal wisdom is already there. You already know more than you think, and there is a way to access that. And reclaiming control over all aspects of your life, including your money. It's all of it. Again, how you do money is how you do everything. So when we talk about money, and this is how you do business, and this is how you connect with people, and all of these things, it's how you do everything, it really is. The fourth word is convergence. Convergence is that point where your thoughts and your emotions and your actions align with your higher purpose and destiny. Everything gets in line, moving you in the right direction. Like when rivers come together into one massive waterway, that type of thing. It's about deciding, another important word here, to let go of the negative mindsets, the old beliefs, the old thoughts, the old habits and thought that might be running us on autopilot right now, and choosing to adopt a higher frequency that aligns with your desires. And it is a frequency. So when we use words like that, sometimes people are like, that sounds good. And yeah, it does, but yet it's actually there. There's invisible frequencies everywhere. That's how we turn on lights in our house. That's how we turn on the television and see the shows we want to watch. It's how we turn on music. You can't see all those frequencies, but they're all there and they work and they're scientifically based and they're based on scientific principles. We're not different. Okay. The electrical currents that run your heart and your brain waves, how we even are tested in a hospital to make sure all those things are functioning if we're very ill or if you're having tests done. You cannot see what's happening with an MRI, but it's all there and it's real. Just because we can't grab onto it in our hands doesn't mean it isn't, and that we create this reality that we live in. I'm going to break down now each of these words and the principle, the scientific principle that goes with it. And there's probably many more. Again, not a scientist, don't have a degree, but this is just a source of real fascination for me because I began to realize more and more in my life how this was already working, and then how we can dial up that frequency, that vibration, and be in alignment with it so that we create more of what we truly desire in our life. So when we look at the word seeing, perceiving, and discerning your oneness with the divine mind, acknowledging your unique potential and recognizing the path that led you here. You're here for a reason. You're here right now on this masterclass for a reason. There's a reason why these things unfold, and we either pay attention and take that next step or pay more attention, or we just let it go by. I think it was Henry David Thoreau who went to Walden Pond for a couple of years because he wanted to make sure that he was truly experiencing life and that it wouldn't just pass him by in a blur. And I think he coined the term, it was something like your common day. And I call it like everyday noise. And these are the things that are like, okay, it's time to get up. This is what time it is. Take the dog out, brush my teeth, take a shower, wash my hair. Some of us put on makeup, whatever your morning routine is, take a walk, meditate, pray, sit outside for a while. Do we need gas? We need fuel in the car, or you need to go to Safeway. That's our everyday noise, so to speak. And that's where we're really running on autopilot. And that's okay for some things, okay? Because it just makes life easier if we don't have to think, now, what do I do with this handle with the brush on the end and this tube of goo? What do I do with that? If we had to spend all our time thinking about, am I breathing while I'm sleeping? What is sleep anyway? We would just never get anything done. So we need some of that daily noise. But there's so many people, that's all they ever do. That's how they live every single day or they're completely locked into the not now past or the not now future, neither of which are actually where we are in this moment. And they're creating their own living hells from their not now future, anxiety or worry, a thing they're focusing on, or they're remembering, dredging up their personal hells from not now past. And so much energy and focus. Do you see what I mean about we're all manifesting all the time? Think about that for a minute in your own life. Is where am I spending all my time in my head? What am I actually doing? And so instead, we want to be very intentional with seeing and really observing our thoughts and noticing. So the scientific principle for this is neuroscience and perception. Based in science, our brains interpret the sensory data we receive to construct our reality. This is the science of perception, and it directly correlates to how we see or understand our place in the universe and in relation to our, what I call divine mind. We have our brains and then we have our minds. I see them as separate issues. You're not going to see your mind in an MRI, but you will see your brain if they do a scan. So how does this work? Let's imagine, we see many of these here in Arizona, that you're seeing a beautiful sunset. Beautiful colors arrayed across the sky. Maybe it's a beautiful sunrise where you are. But your eyes aren't just taking a picture of the view, right? They're capturing the light data, and that your brain is then interpreting and constructing and ultimately sees as a sunset. And that's what we call it here in English. We call it a sunset. In the same way, our understanding of ourselves and our place in the world is not a snapshot, but a complex, ongoing process of interpretation and construction that we can influence by aligning ourselves with divine mind and the energy of it. So to see in this context is not limited to physical sight.
It's a deep understanding, a profound recognition of our connectedness to the universe, to divine mind, much like how the neurons in our brain are interconnected, forming a vast, intricate network that's just working all the time. Those electrical impulses faster than we can even understand how fast we process and think. And just as these neurons work together to construct our perception of reality, so too can we then align ourselves with divine mind. Same thing, to perceive our true potential and our purpose. Does this give me a little wave? Oh, okay, I'm seeing this in a different way. If you're seeing anything at all about this in a different way, just once in a while, wave a hand at me so I know I'm getting through it, because that helps me as well. So that seeing then is not just about physical active observing, it's about spiritual insight. It's a metaphor, it's an analogy, it's into our lives, our businesses, our relationship with money. It's about perceiving our unique gifts, and we all have them. You do, I promise you do, even if sometimes you feel like you don't. And our abilities, our limitless potential born from our oneness with divine mind and our entry into the world in perfection, not broken, right? It's recognizing that path that has led us to where we are right now is how we got here, and being open to where it can lead, where it could lead for you. This seeing, it's not always easy. It demands honesty. It demands maybe some painful honesty to yourself and acceptance of our present situation, of seeing how it really is right this minute, and our willingness to take the next step forward and really taking responsibility, not blaming other people, other things, other circumstances, but seeing where we are in this. Because our reality is largely a result of our perceptions. They're molded by our thoughts. That becomes our beliefs, and that becomes our truth. And so to change our reality, how we are experiencing life right now, we have to change how we see, what we see, how we perceive, and that ties into the scientific concept of neuroplasticity, because our brains are moldable. The plastic aspect of it is they really can change, and all through our lives, it's never too late for that to happen. Our brain's ability to rewire itself based on our thoughts and experiences. And there's so much we could talk about with this, but I don't want to have a half-day masterclass here for your time as well. But by changing our perceptions, then we're effectively reprogramming our brain, that supercomputer that is running the show every day, creating new neural pathways. You literally are creating new neural pathways that lead to deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe. This is why we do things like, and you're going to hear some of this today, repetition, because that's how we learn. That's how our brain says, oh, okay, got it. This is important enough that it's happening more than once. New neural pathways starting to be created. What starts off as a little rocky trail. We have Jeeps. We always have a Jeep Rubicon on hand. And it's like going out on a Jeep trail, and bumpy and rough and interesting, but not necessarily easy to navigate. And then over time, though, if we kept driving that pathway, it's going to start to smooth out. It's going to start to smooth out. Oh, here comes the city. They've decided to pave a one-lane road here and make a bike path out of it. Oh, wait, now it's going to become a super highway. And so that's like how our neural pathways work. They start off just tenuous and then get stronger and stronger. Because the way our brains work is the thing that we place importance on, where we focus our attention. It becomes our intention. And it's also telling our brain, this is important. This is important. Rises to the top of all those 70 and to 80,000 thoughts I'm having. This one's really super important because of that repetition. This is how the science of this in most basic terms, because again, I'm not a scientist, but that's how this works. And that's where the science of this comes in, that we're creating a new way of thinking. And when we create that new way of thinking and a new feeling about it and a new emotion and we attach to it, that becomes a belief. That becomes the way we believe, what we believe, that we're internalizing of who we are in a world and what we're capable of.
Okay, let that land. I hope today opened up some new ways of seeing yourself and what's possible. And if you're feeling a little tug, a little curiosity, don't ignore it. That's the signal. In part 3 of the Unstuckable You Masterclass, we're going deeper into what it really means to receive, to acknowledge where you are, and to start healing the invisible blocks that have been running the show. We'll talk about the science of transformation, the real cost of clinging to old stories, and why your frequency, not just your strategy, is the missing link. Be sure to subscribe, hit like, and leave a comment if something sparked for you. I'm Tina Lorenz, and until next time, remember, you're not stuck. You're just not done yet.